coming up on today's show.
Yes, today's show. Yeah, we got some news topics to talk about. Some really good ones. We're going to be talking about Tata Sunday. I don't know if you guys are very aware of that. We're going to be talking a little Robert Fripp and his partner Toya Wilcox.
How about pulling cars out of the lake? We got some of that.
Yeah, we're going to be pulling. Yeah, we're going to be pulling cars out of the lake. We're going to be talking about the Georgia man who won the new Corvette C8. Or did he?
Good luck with that.
Did he really win it? Yeah.
And
what else?
My list of TV shows that should never be remade.
Yeah. You know, they call it remake. They call it reboots now. So we're going to talk about reboot, and then we're going to talk about a few multifunction tailgates, folks.
So there you go, everybody.
So stay tuned.
Coming up right after this.
Stay tuned. Show, the show of shows, where we bring you entertainment, automotive talk, news, both local and worldly, and how to blow up balloons, whether it's your birthday or not. I'm trying to figure that one out. Keith, what's going on, pal?
Oh, hey, Jay.
Oh, I
just
see
doing
there.
a little.
Doing a little celebrating. I got you. Yes. Gotcha. Cool. So welcome in, you guys. We got a interesting show today. We already talked about a few things that we're going to have on here. You know what's coming up, but
so Jay,
we're yeah. Oh,
so
what do you got there, pal?
I've been watching my news feed lately, and I get a lot of recommended videos from YouTube, and
right.
I've noticed that. Robert and Toya's Sunday lunch is getting a lot of hits now. This is Robert Fripp from King Crimson fame, right?
King Crimson, yeah. I did a little research on Toya,
Jay,
by the way. So Toya, nice.
So
Toya.
I figured, if it works for them, right? I mean,
yes.
I'm just
absolutely.
This is all it takes to get
go.
likes on YouTube, right? Is just a little.
Say hello to my little friends.
Now, should I cover some Metallica for you, or
absolutely, man.
Is it really the singing and the guitar playing that is getting all the views, or is it the balloons?
Hey, man, it's just like the magazines, the Playboy magazines, man. I only bought those for the articles, dude.
I'm just gonna
great articles.
I'm just gonna lean back in my chair here and do the rest of the show like this.
Hey, I hate to say this, man, but you are no match for her. I'm sorry, man. You need to be a little bit more exposed. That would be great. So what a brilliant idea for these two guys. And I got to tell you, Robert Fripp is just an awesome musician, period. Keith can get more into that. I think that Keith, it's probably one of Keith's favorite guitar players and musicians.
Here's the problem, Jay.
Period, but
they're not anatomically correct. See that?
They're not, none are.
Well, then they're realistic. Yeah. So these two,
well, I don't know.
Both.
Maybe they are. Depends on where you get them made, I guess. I don't know.
both talented performers. Robert, of course, as Jay just pointed out, from King Crimson fame.
King Crimson, yeah.
And Toya Wilcox was in a band, also has some acting credits.
Yeah, she was in Quadrophenia, man.
She can sing.
Yeah, she's good.
If you have not seen these YouTube videos,
please do.
But I will warn you, it's
do yourself
probably
a favor.
not family friendly. I mean, it's not R-rated or anything like that. I just don't know that I'd watch it with my kids. But they figured out that Jay, I just, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, they're
Hey, man, you know what? When you've got something worth looking at, you want to show people. And they're doing a really well played by both of them, and they're choosing some really, really good songs. The first one that I caught was Enter Sandman.
So they were actually doing them, as you pointed out, before this, but they didn't have the the exposure, shall we say, as these. So
Right.
so now they've started this new formula, and I mean she's on exercise bikes and wearing, she covered Billy Idol. She's wearing a cheerleader uniform.
The Rebel Yell, man, cheerleading outfit. Yeah. Well played.
Yeah, no, they
I'm
did
telling
Welcome
you.
to the Jungle this last week, and honestly, her cover, it's just not a good fit vocally. I didn't think it wasn't
Right.
as good to me. I don't know.
Yeah, but Fripp
he's-
showed his talent in that one,
Yeah.
man. His guitar playing in that one's really good. I mean, he's good anyway. But King Crimson goes way back. He played with he was with the Talking Heads, I think, or worked with those guys. I mean, he's very renowned in the,
Yes,
in the
indeed.
music
Yeah.
industry. So yeah, go over to their just type in Toya and Robert Sunday Lockdown Lunch.
I'm sure we could link to it.
You can find it.
I mean, yeah.
Let's put a link up there. We'll see what happens. And I would like to personally reach out to Robert and Toya and say, hey, if you want to come on as a guest, we can arrange that to have you guys come on and perform live on our show. Wouldn't that be
As
cool?
long as I
Keith?
get my balloon signed.
Absolutely, man. We see if we can't make that arrangement. So there you go, Robert and Toya. Please pay attention. We're out here. We're looking for you. We want you on our show. We'd be glad to have you. So, yeah. So that's been kind of fun to watch and evolve as they come. It'll be interesting what this Sunday brings.
Yeah, I'm convinced that it's not content, Jay, so much as it is just the balloons. I'm telling you, we just need to. I don't know. I don't think I could get the hits.
Right. Speaking of music, Keith. Speaking of music, we've made some additions, some changes, right?
Yeah, right.
what
So
we're doing?
I've need to do this, guys, and I'm sorry I have not done it before now. But to you guys in the band Racelon, thank you so much for that is their music that you are hearing all over the place in our videos. It's in our opening bumper. It's in our opener on the podcast side. We did a show with them way back, probably a little over a year ago. And they've been working on stuff, and they've stayed busy.
Maybe not that long ago, but
Well,
close to it.
it's,
Yeah.
I lose track of these things.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So it's long overdue. You guys, thank you so much. If you have not checked them out, please do so. It's Racelon, RHASALON, and the band consists. It's Leonardo, Jay, Marquinos, Vico, Grayson, and Adamir are the guys in the band. Thank you
That's
to
right.
all you guys for letting us use your stuff. Looking forward to seeing you in person when we can, whenever that may be.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I talked to them recently, and of course, they're working on some new material specifically for us. They're also working on some new material for themselves. They just released a song called Soldiers, which was incredibly good. Leonardo reached out to me for some of the lyric work on that. I helped him with a specific lyric, and so I'm really honored to have been asked.
I think I can contribute to this also. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I know you can.
Leonardo,
I'm waiting.
I got it, man. You want to get Jay and I have this figured out. Trust me. This is how. If you release any music from this point forward on YouTube, the balloons are the secret, buddy. Just get you some balloons.
The balloons.
Go check out Robert and Toya's Sunday Lockdown Lunch, and you'll know what I mean. But I seriously think if we get Leonardo with a couple of balloons, don't you think that would?
I think so, man. We'll do that. Well, maybe they can send us a video when they're in studio and they're recording or whatever. But
Are you trying to have a serious podcast
Soldiers.
here?
No, we never try to have those. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Leonardo, Adamir, Grayson, Vico, and Marquinos. Which, by the way, those guys love beer. Marquinos is a brewer, man. He brews his own. And,
yeah, this I knew.
Yeah, and he's in like. Yeah, these guys are, they're great. But yeah, we just talked to them. They're going to come back on the podcast. Matter of fact, when they hand over our music, we'll premiere that. Have them on in studio and see if we can't get another interview with those guys and see what they're up to and see what the beer of the day is, because those guys do love their beer. So again, yeah, thanks for bringing those guys up, Keith. And thank you, Ray Salon. You are on our radar always. Always.
Odds that this balloon gets popped before the show's over? What's the over-under here?
Oh, man. I'm going to say that's going to get popped like even well before the show's over.
All right.
I mean, hey, rub it on your head, make it stick on your head.
I'm too oily. All right.
If you were here, you would have had that, man. So anyway, all right. So let's get on to some other things.
So you may have noticed, Jay is. You can probably see Jay's. You can't see mine, although I'll hold it up here in a minute. But we are. Your balloon. You were.
Yeah,
okay.
My balloon.
No, I was actually. Your microphone is different, and
yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to promote some of our headgear and outerwear.
Oh, well, I guess if you, go ahead, man.
Folks,
I'll just rub the tip of this balloon while you.
Okay, well, we're just still very interested in getting a storefront out there for you guys to purchase the official Parts Counter Guru merch. So we're working on that, so stay tuned. But what you see is pretty much similar to what we're going to be putting out there.
Check our website.
Anyway, go ahead.
Just do not expect to get anything serious accomplished with me today, okay? I'm like,
Right. And our website is
PartsCounterGuru.com.
What is our website? There you go. Perfect. Thank you.
All right. So
glad you got that.
So those of you not distracted by my great balloons may have noticed that Jay is on a different microphone today, as am I. We have been wanting to review these for a while, but we've held off because they weren't. There was a supply chain shortage, and you couldn't get them. So we thought, well, what is the point really of talking about something that no one can have? So now is the time. They are now back in stock. Jay's got one right there. It is the Elgato Wave. Now we are using the Wave 1. There is a Wave 3 version. It's a little bit more feature packed. These are intended to be used on the road for us, probably. That's where we see them, fitting our what do you say? Our setup, our gear setup.
Our gear setup.
So they're USB microphones. They're actually really good. And what I might do here is drop in a little clip of us. Now, we typically use studio microphones. This is one right here. And they're not bad compared to that. Now I've got the tabletop mount. Jay, is yours on the table as well?
I have it on the tabletop mount, but if you want to show off that little fancy adapter,
so they make a couple different accessories. The one is the pop filter here to take care of the plosives, and then they make a microphone adapter. Well, it comes with a microphone adapter, which is right here. And then they make a shock mount adapter, so you can literally put it on this is a shock mount, everybody, if you didn't know that. So if you're gonna record like in a show setting, you probably want to get it off the tabletop. Although it depends on what you're going for. You're gonna get a little bit more atmosphere in the sound if you Tonight Show style if you set it on the table on the desk. They also make extensions for these, Jay. Did you know that? Where you can add a couple of sections here.
I did not know that. I will say this, Elgato, if you're a streamer or a podcaster or just a content creator, period, go to elgato.com. Man, those guys have got it figured out. But be forewarned, everybody out there is doing the same thing, so there's a lot of out-of-stock items, but they're catching back up, I think.
Go to our website at partscounterguru.com, or if you're watching the video, look in the comments section. We'll put links to this stuff in both our mentioned on the podcast page and in the comments on the YouTube side. But these are, I'm going to flip this around so you're not going to hear me as well, but I'm pleasantly surprised by these. So first of all, you've got, it's a USB connection. It's USB-C on the back, and you've also got a headphone input, right? So right back there. And we've talked about this before. My MacBook Pro has a headphone jack on the right side, but doing it this way allows me a little bit more freedom with my headphone cord, right? So that I can move around. And then you've also got this volume. It doubles as a mute and a volume control button. So look here. So you got that. And then if I mute it.
Yep. So, folks, he is screaming at the screen right now, and now he's turned it off. And actually, Keith's a really good guy. But no, seriously, this is really it's. So you guys are getting this is a live demo of this microphone. So if you like the way this thing sounds, or you have any questions for Keith and I about the setup of this thing, we're going to go through some of that here in just a second. But I could tell you, we just wanted to do it live because we both felt like it was the best way to review this product in a live demo. And here we are doing a live podcast for you guys on the Counter Show right now using these Wave 1 Elgato microphones.
So they come with, we use a lot of Elgato stuff. I've got some of their lighting and so on. But it comes with software, okay? And you've got gain control, you've got mix control. So if you're gonna, mix in sound effects and that sort of stuff. And something that I think is kind of interesting, Jay pointed this out, they have a clipping control. So if you get too close to the mic, a lot of times you'll hear people distort. It'll get really, really funky and, when you get up in the mic. Well, the clip control will help prevent that to an extent.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what, if you have guests on your podcast, Keith, and they're not as familiar with how how the clipping is a problem, can be a problem because they don't have the control yet of their own voice. If you have a guest on, these are ideal for guests because you have that anti-clipping mechanism in there. I tried to clip it. It doesn't sound distorted whatsoever in my testing before we came on. So I was pretty excited about that. I think it's great for a guest feature.
Yeah, and check it out, everybody. I mean, look, if we were willing to trust them enough to record a podcast on them, that ought to say something. So
yeah, and let me say this, guys. Like he said, it comes. There's software that you have to go to the elgato.com, and there's a download section. Supported by Mac products, Apple products, as well as Windows-based operating systems. You will download what they call Wave Link to your device or your machine, I should say. And let me just say this: I know enough to get around and can get myself in trouble to where I have to pick up the phone and use a lifeline sometimes. It's very intuitive. I can tell you that it was extremely easy for me to set up on my own. I never once had any issue whatsoever. So run out and go buy one. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, it's a USB mic.
Easy to use.
So that's another thing to consider, right? Like a lot of the traditional mics are either an XLR, quarter-inch plug. Well, usually they're XLR, but this is a USB-based mic. So it is a PC or Mac-based mic. But there you go. So just let us know in the comments. But just wanted to give you guys an example, so to speak, of how they sounded.
Yeah, what was the cost? What's the average cost on these?
I don't remember.
Can it range? You don't remember?
Well, there is a price difference between the Wave 1 and the Wave 3. Let me see what I can find out.
Yeah, why don't you bring that up real quick? And while you're looking at that, I can tell you that from, comparable, there are some really good mics out there that you can get for, 120, 130 to say 200. And then you start getting into those really pro mics, like say by Rode, and there's just a number of other professional podcasting microphones that are out there. But there's a lot of really, really price conscious pieces of equipment out there, and I believe that these are going to be one of those.
Yeah, so Elgato's got them $129.99 for the Wave 1, which is again,
folks, what are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Go buy one. And hey, we bought these ourselves. This is just, hey, Elgato, though, if you want to like lend us some gear to test for you, we'd be glad to do that. We'll just lend
you can
it
get
to
them
us
on
and
Amazon. We'll put a
you.
link. If you're going to buy anything off Amazon, use our website. It'll help us out.
Man, I'm so glad you picked these things up, man. I'm excited about using these things, especially when we're out on the road. We're doing our live stuff on our road shows. I'll probably start using these more out in the field too. I got some things coming down the pike. I'm going to experiment with a few things here or there. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Hope you guys like beer. That's all I got to say. Okay, so do we want to go ahead and move into some of our news topics? Live from the counter desk. Yeah. So, you want to start this off? You want me to start this off?
Feeling my balloon helps guide me on the way. Seriously, Jay, do you hate it when you're trying to do something serious and you got guys just like,
I know what you have on your brain, man. I get it. I mean, Toya's.
I mean, how does he pull that off? How does he sit there and shred like Slash Guns N' Roses?
He bought them. He knows what they are. I mean, he's they practice this stuff all the time. I mean, it's just.
All right. Yes. All right.
Yes. Yeah.
I got it.
All right. Those are not stock.
I'm telling you, this is going to end up one of these.
Those are aftermarket. Those are aftermarket.
Not
brand.
OEM. Yeah.
They're not OEM.
Right.
No.
So this was interesting to me. It's a little bit unusual, I guess I'll say, but nonetheless, kind of an interesting topic. Over the past couple weeks, they've been pulling vehicles out of various waterways here in Middle Tennessee around me in the Nashville area. And it's kind of creepy, but kind of interesting just looking at some of the pictures. They put together a group of volunteer divers, and the organization that's spearheading this is called Adventures with Purpose. So, they're going down, diving, having fun, but also they're trying to, pull junk out of the waterways.
They get hired to come in and do that, but also to help assist in some cold cases, some criminal cases. And you know the backstory behind why they were there and one of the people that were affected by that.
Probably you took the lady. Yeah, so there's a police officer situation that happened not too long ago, and then the lady I may not know. Why don't tell me? Fill me in. Do you know? Yeah. Do you have that info?
Yeah, I do. So there was a lady. Her husband Bill Simmons is a Nashville man who went missing on June the 15th of 2020. And his family said they have no idea where he went, and he's yet to be found. So the last week or whatever it was, they identified 33 cars that were underwater. So, she thought in her mind that it's a possibility that they may have some evidence of, finding him. She thinks that he's gone missing either in the Cumberland River or the Percy Priest Lake area, somewhere in that area. So, they said that last year Adventures with Purpose solved 4 cold cases by doing what they do.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre, man. I mean, crazy? So first of all, and we've seen stories on the news here where, people trying to do rescue situations and they get pulled in. And as I look at this, some of them you can make out clearly, like there looks like there's a Jeep here in one of the pictures and some older, Pontiac type stuff. But a lot of these are pretty beat up, definitely pretty muddy.
Yeah.
And, it just makes me wonder, like, how do these cars get that close to the waterways? This many vehicles. What are these people doing?
I think it's just a dump. I think they're just probably going to find out. They'll run the VINs on them, and they'll all be stolen vehicles. There'll be cases that are solved from stolen vehicles. Yeah. People just dumping them. That's got to be what it is. And this is just, I can't believe they don't monitor that area, better to catch people in the act of doing that. But maybe they do. I don't know. I'm just making assumptions. But just keep in mind, cars will float, until they get just right. They will float and get that air out of them. Then they dump. But they're all congregated in the same area where this ramp is. So. But Christine Simmons is the wife, and she is at the Port of Nashville dock. That's where this is at. and in hopes that they might find her husband. But she's also behind Muddy Bottoms Adventures, which is a team that supports divers who clean waterways and assist with missing person searchers in cold cases like her husband Bill. So crazy, man. What an interesting story. I read that. I was like, wow. I lived there in Nashville for over 20 years, and I never knew that was like a very high volume.
Yeah, I mean, I used to live,
and they say this has been going
close
on
to
for
boat
years.
ramps, and I've never. Yeah, it's just not something you would think about, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's crazy, man. So good story on that, man. It's a little different than, when you brought it to my attention and I started reading, I'm like, that's very strange.
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't what I expected. Put it that way. So it was one of those things that was full of little tidbits of information that I was able to pick up, and now I know about 2 new teams that go around doing this stuff to clean muddy waterways and go dive for junk, man, and clean stuff up.
That's just what I do, man.
So
I keep it
go.
weird, just.
Yeah. So you want me to catch the next one there, man?
Keeping it weird, yes, please.
Keeping it weird, yeah. So you guys, you've heard us on the show. We talk about the Corvette C8.
Oh, never.
All the time.
I've never heard us talk about anything General Motors related.
All the time, man. No, man, it's kind of interesting that and Keith found the story, or else I would have never. I didn't find it, but it's interesting. This guy. Did I just lose my story? Let me get back to this. Come here, man. Oh, there you are. You want to be an ad pop-up? Hey, can I get a pop-up blocker here while I'm podcasting, please? So
maybe that'll give GM time to make their Corvette for you.
Make their exactly, and that's the point I'm going to try to make here. So GM has had a terrible time delivering this new thing. People are still waiting for the delivery of their new mid-engine C8.
All right, let me beat up on this for just a second before you go into the story.
Go ahead,
so,
tear it up.
So, we just did a podcast on this not too long ago, and here's the thing that I don't understand. So you're having sales issues. 2020 was a very tough sales year in the automotive industry. GM was no exception. You've got something that a lot of people want. In fact, more people want this automobile than you can than have access to it. There's a supply shortage. And I do understand some of this is supply chain related, where parts are coming from all around the world. But wouldn't you, Jay, if you were in a situation where your sales numbers weren't where they should be, where you wanted them to be, and B, you had something that you knew there was a big public interest in, for what we can tell, it's a great product. Wouldn't you make those two work together? Wouldn't you find a way to sell more of these? Okay, yeah. So
absolutely. Well, I think that they're just too busy making tailgates, man. That's my opinion.
Right.
But anyway, we'll get into that.
So we have a guy here that tell us the story.
Well, this guy out of Georgia, he's a Georgia resident and plays the Georgia lottery. Most of us play our state lotteries. Dennis Collar thought he hit the jackpot when he won the grand prize on a scratch-off ticket, a new C8 generation Corvette valued of up to $107,000, and he also won $250,000 in cash. Unfortunately, he can't get the Corvette. He's gone to several. There's no allocation. Nobody worked with anybody to get this guy. So he can't find a vet. He's gone to several dealerships to get the thing, and he can't provide a dealer that has an allotment. They just thought I could go straight in and pick out a 2021 C8. This guy found out exactly what everybody else who wants a C8 is finding out, man.
Apparently, whoever put the lottery promotion together, they did set aside the budget for the vehicle. Looks like they set aside up to $107,000 for one of these.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Go ahead. Keep going, man. I just
But nobody thought through.
I think I know where it's at.
Oh, here we go. But nobody thought through, how are we actually going to get one of these? I mean, there's even a picture of the Stingray on the lottery ticket that he won, right? So what's your realization?
Well, I'm just looking at the specs on this thing, man. Okay, so He had already picked out what he wanted. It's a Rapid Blue 2LT Z51 worth $80,465. Didn't I just go over to Jerry Smith Chevrolet over here, my local dealership? They invited me over to go see the same identical vehicle before the owner took possession of it. He wanted to leave it on the lot. So I did. I went over and I did a photo shoot and took some pictures of it, talked to the dealership and set some things up with those guys. And it's going to be used in a movie.
What's this guy's name? What's this guy's name? Dennis? Dennis Collar? Right. Dennis, hey.
Yeah.
Jay had your Corvette, buddy.
I might be able to turn you on to the guy that has your vet. Hit us up at
partscounterguru.com. There's an Ask Us a Question tab, and we'll fill you in. But apparently Jay is... Jay, did you fart in it?
I did. It's noticeable. It's a nice hint of India Pale Ale. So while we're there, so... if you really want to find out where your vet is, man, hey, reach out to me. But here's what you have to do first. You got to go to youtube.com/Parts Counter Gurus and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up and ring that bell. And also follow us on our social media platforms, which are facebook.com/Parts Counter Gurus. You can check us out over on Instagram.com, and that is the Parts Counter Gurus. Check us out on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @TheCounterShow, which is what you are listening to right now. Check us out at partscounterguru.com. If you have a question or a comment, you can go to there's a Ask Us a Question tab. If you want to listen to our audio podcast, there's podcast links, and anything we mention on the podcast that you might be able to purchase, we have a mention on the podcast tab. And then if you want to go shopping, Amazon tab is up there for you to just go buy until your heart's
buy your own balloons,
and,
make your own video
from that.
Yeah. I read your comments. Yeah. Some of you guys out there think you got it figured out on how to make a good video. Well, go get your own balloons. Go to Amazon, click on the banner, buy your own balloons.
Get your own stuff. Buy it, but just buy it through partscounterguru.com. Though, just click the link and it takes you over there. We don't, Keith, do they know what?
Completely anonymous.
Do we know what they're buying, who they are?
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, but we get love from that, guys, and it helps us keep this show going. So we want to keep doing what we're doing. Thank you for all the support. There you go. Subscribe, tell a friend, like us, whatever you need to do. Man, just help us out. Thank you so much.
There's this one spot on this balloon. Yeah. I just keep feeling
all right, huh?
Sorry. Anyway, all right. Yeah, it's gonna be screens and TV and movies from here on, man. I got a lot to say.
Oh, I got lots to say, man.
So Netflix. And we have commented on this many times on this very program. Previous episodes, Netflix is raising their prices again, going up about $1, in some cases $2. Now they're doing a real aggressive push. I think they're going to be releasing something like a movie a week for the rest of the year.
So what they're saying,
they've got a lot of headline stars doing from Netflix production studios, big names. My question is, and that's all great, and I think that they're going to be cash flow positive here pretty shortly, and that just was announced recently, and Netflix kind of got into its heyday because of all the cord cutters. Well, at some point, and I know I'm going to sound a little bit like Waldorf or Statler. I don't know which one I am and which one you are, but at some point,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm the angry guy.
It's usually me too. But we're just gonna be back to cable. Everybody, let's just go sign back up for cable. I mean, at this point, what's the difference, right?
Well, that's what Netflix is aiming to be. I mean, it won't be long. They will be a cable company. So the appeal was,
I think that's the case.
I'm still paying off the last increase, man.
I mean, the appeal was you got an $80 a month. $90 a month, $100 a month cable bill. By the time, back in the day, by the time we had all of our, premium, I think they called it premiums, like your HBO and Showtimes and all that, right? And then all your sports packages and whatever else. Well, I mean, I just don't see how we've really gotten away from that. I mean, how is this different?
It's not. It's funny because we talked about this, what is like a year ago, the last increase they It was another buck. So it's nothing on the standard. The next level's a buck. It goes from, I think, $12.99 to $13.99, and then the premium is going up $2. And that's in February, right?
That's like if you
February
want
25th,
want
I think,
4K or Ultra HD or whatever.
Right. That's
and it's
that
like,
sort of stuff, but which is worth it.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
you know,
man, I mean, seriously, like I'm getting sick and tired of paying this service over here and paying for that streaming, CBS All Access over here,
right?
And Hulu over here, and Prime over here. It's like I'm just going back to cable at this point.
I think it would be fair if they just charge us for the amount of time that we're actually on it, like a meter, like a meter running, rather than flat rate. What if I don't use it this month?
That's just like cell phone plans. Yeah,
they're not
saying? Gonna. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but see, that's just what I'm saying. See, that's the way I think. That's what I think practically, But yeah, I mean, we said this like a year ago. We talked about it. It's like everybody wants to drop the cable companies and go out and just select what they want to stream, right? Well, now everybody's offering their own streaming services. So what are you left with? You've got like 8 different things coming out of your bank account per month, and it's confusing. You got all these bills popping up, and the first thing I say is, is there something, an app that we can like organize all that so it's on?
Yeah, it's called cable television.
Called cable company. I mean,
guys.
Be careful
I am
what you
no
ask
fan
for.
of Comcast, but this is just not. I don't know.
Well, Comcast, man. They're going paperless. They're forcing us to go paperless and everything. They're not mailing out bills anymore. It's going to be all online, and that's. So I don't know, man. I don't know what's next. Are they going to go streamless? No more Wi-Fi. I mean, they're practically there now because their Wi-Fi works like half the time, or their internet.
The hotspot service that you're sharing your signal with your neighbors. But that's another episode. This has become my comfort balloon. Like I kind of just sit here. And,
I see that. Do I need to send you a stress ball?
I got it right here, man.
Oh, what, dude? Hey, send us a comment if you want a stress ball, Parks County Guru's stress ball. I'll go out and make some. What do you think? That'd be a good little.
Sure. I mean, if you want me to.
People are stressed
stick
out.
them under my shirt first.
Post-COVID stress
send it
ball.
out to you, I guess. All right. So, do you want to hear fork in the road time, Jay? All right.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear? Do you want to hear me rant a little bit, or would you rather go to something that's a little bit more uplifting?
I want to hear rant.
Okay.
I'm in the rant frame of mind. Oh, did you want to go somewhere else? Then why did you ask me?
That's fine, man. You're driving.
Why did you ask me?
Okay, so I just stumbled on this. I don't even know why the AI felt it appropriate to put this in my news feed, unless Google's trying to make me have a heart attack or probably an aneurysm or.
It's called selective marketing. They're listening to you. They know what you're doing. They know how you loathe it.
Yeah. So here's where they completely missed the boat. So apparently, they have remade Walker Texas Ranger. Okay.
Oh.
Now there are things in life, Jay. There are things that are okay to be remade. There are some Beatles songs that it's okay to cover. The Beatles themselves did other work. I mean, it's not out of the question.
Yeah.
To hear somebody cover a Led Zeppelin song, maybe some The Who, some of the Van Halen stuff. Sure, it's all fine, right? You want to cover some Prince, whatever. There is only one Chuck Norris, okay? I don't know why we need to. This is the bigger issue. It's not Walker, like CW's remake of Walker Texas Ranger, which I will never watch ever. Okay. I don't care how good it is or how good you say it is, but there are just shows that worked when they worked, and sometimes we understood the reasons why, and sometimes we didn't. And I'll give you another example: Magnum PI. Magnum PI was a show that just worked. It just worked. But somebody in their infinite wisdom at CBS said, "Hey, we need to do a reboot on this show," and
right. What's next? The
Oh,
18?
please don't. Oh my God, please don't. I can't believe they did do a reboot of that movie, which I did see. But they've done. So here's my list of shows that got remade, and I want the people that were behind this out, drawn, and quartered. Okay, Walker, Texas Ranger.
This is so funny, man.
Hawaii Five-0, which was actually not a bad show in the remake, but do we really need it? Do we really need to be looking in the rearview mirror, Hollywood, for ideas? Are we just that bankrupt creatively? Really?
There's a lot of stuff, man, with that they can make, and they want to go back in here and tap in. What's next? Dynasty?
Yes, they redid a couple of those of the.
See, I'm under a rock. I don't pay any attention to that crap.
I think they redid Dallas. Knight Rider. Knight Rider, they remade with Val Kilmer as the voice of Kit.
I remember that. Yes.
Charlie's Angels, I don't know how many failed attempts at remakes they did on that one, but it was more than one.
Well, they had the movies.
Well, the movies were... Yeah. I mean,
The one movie... Well, the what's the girl's name that was in
Wait a second. Are you actually...
was in that?
Are you... what's...
Oh... What's the girl's name in Poltergeist?
That would be Drew Barrymore for 300, Alex.
Okay, let me hold that for you.
Here, hold my Drew beers. Barrymore.
I mean,
yes. Hey,
yeah, Drew Barrymore. She did a topless dance on David Letterman's desk, man.
For those of you just tuning in that don't know why I have these balloons, you need to subscribe to the full podcast, partscounterguru.com, or you can watch the segment that we did.
Oh yeah.
You'll just have to search for it. Hit the subscribe button, and it will come to you. How's that? And then MacGyver was the other one that I thought,
there's only one
really
MacGyver, man.
And so then you posted some stuff that's up and coming, that's due out this year.
Yeah, I just where's that at here? Let's see.
The MacGruber one, I thought, really? We're gonna go back with the MacGruber from. So not only are we remaking MacGyver, we're remaking the parody of MacGyver.
Right, Punky Brewster
we
again.
Need that
really?
For sure.
Do we really need Saved by the Bell
I mean,
again?
come on, man. Really?
Now Ren and Stimpy.
Yes, but it's animated. See, you can bring back animated series and get away with it.
That's not really a remake. It truly is what I would call a reboot. Yes. In other words, picking up where they left off, That'd be like a Simpsons, picking up on the Simpsons, man. Yeah, I'm with you on that. But now I got to tell you something.
Okay. There is one on my list as well that I was okay with the reboot. Yes, go ahead. Okay,
my wife would probably be all over this because she loved the original movie Grease. Yeah. And everybody, John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, and the famous Pink Ladies dance and all that stuff. The Pink Ladies were the female riders. But anyway, Rise of the Pink Ladies coming back, man.
I'm not drawn into that for some reason. I've got my own Pink Ladies here. But anyway, I digress. Now, Battlestar Galactica. I loved the sci-fi series reboot. I owned the entire box set. And it was so different than the original. I think I was okay with it. I don't know that we need to go for the third time on that one, which they are, apparently.
Yeah. Star Trek, it's been made a few times, and that's okay, but they do the Star Trek in segments,
but
like
they're not
Next Generation.
Correct. They're not remaking TNG.
Exactly. It's
they're exploring
it's
other
like what,
areas of the storyline, right? They're doing that with Star Wars too.
Right. It's like what Star Wars, exactly. That my point. So we're on the same page there. But yeah, I could see the Battlestar Galactica working maybe. But
please do not enable these NBC executives anymore.
Right. But you know what though, man? I was a big fan of the Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Is that a subliminal? The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I don't know. Will Smith's going to be in it, man. I
mean,
see that.
seriously though, it's
If-
such an
if he's gonna
altered
be in it,
story.
you know?
Like, what now? Is it, has he not learned to fully function in Bel Air society and, Rodeo Drive
Right. Well,
in 30 years?
I personally think that life lessons are timeless. So if he can use it like he did back then, teaching some life lessons to kids of this generation, it may work. I don't know if that's what his goal is. Yeah, good luck to him. Hey, Will Smith, would you like to come on our show and talk to us about the reboot of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? And I'll try to rap. I'll try to rap with you. I'm no good at it.
I am enjoying Cobra Kai, which he's I believe producing.
Yeah.
And that is more along the lines, Jay, of your Star Trek analogy than it is anything else, because they're exploring the other side of the story in a lot of ways.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Yes. I hear you, man. What do I got here?
So,
see what's going on here. Check. 1, 2. Hello. We're still processing. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm good. I'm just doing a mic check, man. My new mic. Got to bring out the mic. And we're not sponsored by these guys today, but I'd like to bring out the fact that again that we're talking on these new
Elgato
microphones.
Wave 1. Jay and I decided to try them out on the podcast, live to us. It'll be pre-recorded, but we swapped out our studio mics. Mine's still sitting right here. And here, I'll prove I'm not using it. See, there it is. It's behind my head. I'm using the Elgato down here on the
Elgato, and that's what I'm on to as well. So
yeah. Anyway, so on a positive note, and we found out about this through Lucas Oil, who was behind the production of this. But there's a film coming out that appears to be heavily MMA, mixed martial arts. It's called Born a Champion, and it's got who did I see in it? It's got some big names in it.
Let's see here.
Alex Ravello, sorry, Alex, is behind this.
Yeah,
and it's starring Sean Patrick Flannery, who we know. And
is he really in there?
Yeah.
I like that guy, man. Dennis
There you go.
Quaid's
There was
in
the
it.
other name that I spotted. Golden Globe. Yep.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid's in it. Yeah, Golden Globe winner. But what I found interesting is, so here's the deal. So here I am under a rock again, Keith. It's Lucas, man, the Lucas Oil guy. That bought a film company, started his film company. It's called Forest Films.
Yeah.
It's private entertainment industry. He's teamed up with Ali Afshar, who is a race car driver and had starred in many films of that type. I think they started it back in 2018. Boy, that was. I mean, can you imagine being a film company starting up and then COVID
it depends
hits?
on how you play your cards. It could work to your advantage, or it could be a real challenge, right?
This is true. So for those of you who don't know who Lucas Oil Products...
Oh, well, if you live in Indiana, you... yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he has the naming rights over the Colts stadium there. It's Lucas Oil Field. Lucas is a very renowned product in the racing industry and just automotive industry, period. Lubricant company, but he decided to go out and make movies, man. This is interesting.
Yeah, so let's see. The movie's rated R. It'll be out on digital and on demand on January 22nd, 2021. And then you can buy a physical or Blu-ray copy on January 26th. And then it's also in select theaters, but they don't say specifically which ones. So I'm interested in. I want to check it out. The movie's called Born a Champion.
I do too. Yeah, I do as well. So it's what's the whole background of this? Just the guy's just he was a fighter, like an MMA fighter guy that got injured,
Yeah.
I think, and then his family's going through some hard times. So, but he sees an opportunity to get back in the ring and kind of support his family and get back at the guy who basically
got caught cheating.
Almost ended his career. Cheated. Yeah.
Which I will point out to you, Jay, for those of you that don't know, technically, and I can back this statement up. The crane technique in Karate Kid, that was an illegal move.
Oh.
No. Illegal kick
really?
to the head. If you look where he makes contact, he kicks him in the face and knocks him out, right? Well, if you roll back a few minutes in that movie, I think it was Johnny. It might have been one of the previous matches where Daniel was fighting and someone else on the Cobra Kai team made illegal contact to the head against Daniel, and they lost a point and they got warned.
Ah, man, look at you.
No, y'all missed like that one, didn't you? He cheated to win.
You're like the Miyagi of movies, man. Wow.
Yeah, so technically Daniel cheated to win that match. I mean, it was an illegal move.
Isn't that interesting, man? I had no idea.
The stuff you learned on this program.
Okay, are you through ranting now about movies and stuff, man? Are you? I'm
gonna go back to my balloon here.
Go ahead and just, take your frustrations out on your balloons, man. So the main topic of today, Keith and I thought it would be a good opportunity to just kind of bring up something that we've seen a trend growing in the automotive industry more so.
Wait, I thought we were talking about balloon on YouTube videos. No. Okay, never mind.
No, man. So what's up with all these multi-purpose, multi-function tailgates that are coming out? I mean, that's the question that I had when we brought up the subject. I thought, well, this would be a good topic of discussion.
Wait,
how things have changed in the pickup truck industry.
So we're not talking about headlights?
No, not headlights,
my bad,
man. But however, you can get some aftermarket version headlights if you need them. Doctor, whatever. Anyway, so multi-purpose tailgate wars is what.
Apparently, Toya's had her own headlight restoration time. All right, I can't let this go, man. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, you and nor should you.
So it is decades of just tailgates being tailgates, and then all of a sudden, a few years ago, somebody comes along and goes, "Yeah, we need to just start." Like adding all this other stuff to tailgates. This is interesting. I mean, I actually, you would convince me, you could convince me that this would help their sales numbers if you do it right. If you're trying to decide between maybe a Chevy Silverado or a Dodge Ram, and you have an intended purpose for work or towing your RV or whatever, and one of these tailgate designs fits better. I mean.
Yeah, it's interesting. But it really is. It has become a topic of the discussion around some of these dealerships. People want to go and look at these multi-purpose, these multi-function.
Doesn't it sort of fit in the same class that, like, the car commercials that sell? I remember Hyundai used to be real bad about this. Like, they would run a commercial on television in years past, and they would never even talk about the performance or the engine or miles per gallon or fuel economy or anything. All they did is show you, like, Bluetooth connectivity, remote start capability, and, tech, right?
Right.
Doesn't this sort of fit in that same category of, we don't really care how much the truck can tow or what its load rating is?
Boy, have I got a story for you. Yeah. Yeah, it really does. I had a conversation yesterday with a family member that is looking to purchase a new pickup truck, and it's like he drove a GM product with the 5.3 liter, I think Ecotec 3 in it, and he said it was like driving a boat. It was just awful, underpowered. It was no good. But he drove the Ford Ranger. With the EcoBoost platform in it. I think it was the FX4 model. He said that thing just screamed, and it did everything he wanted it to do. But the one thing that he kept mentioning is about some of the features on some of this stuff. It's like, what are they doing with pickup trucks, man? Whatever happened to the day when you use them for utilitarian purposes?
This is you know.
I mean, are we getting away from that?
No secret that trucks are one of the most profitable products that these automotive companies produce. And you know, it's another way for them to bump the price point up on a lot of them in many cases. I mean, did you look at what some of these end up costing just for the tailgate when you add all the extra tailgate features?
It's ridiculous. It's unbelievable how much more money they and weight that they add.
Right. So it's become more of a luxury vehicle and really less of a work vehicle. And you know, I have a truck. When I have a 3/4 ton, when I think of my truck or needing to use my truck, it usually revolves around what I would consider work: towing something, hauling something, going somewhere, camping. Not a vehicle that I would, although I could, but that I wouldn't think to take out on a nice date or to the theater or, you know, somewhere that I would have to valet park it. Not that I couldn't do those things, but that's not a truck, right?
Right. Yeah, and you know, man, what really tears at my brain is average person wants to purchase a pickup truck for the sole purpose of towing something, pulling something, or they have a business they want to run.
Because then you have John, right, who's out looking at trucks and maybe looking at them for performance.
There's See, there are three markets in the truck industry now. It is the entry level, just having a truck to get around, don't really care about towing, performance, or anything like that.
I work as a a cabinet maker. I install flooring.
Yeah.
I deliver landscape, plants, trees. I am an on-site contractor. You get it, right?
Right.
Mobile mechanic.
Yeah.
Or, you know, mobile grooming service, and I need to tow my, you know, or pet wash trailer, whatever thing. Sorry. But then you get into, I don't really need that bed except just occasionally when I go buy, you know, spring flowers at Home Depot, right?
Right.
So
that's there. But the big truck market, like your Super Duties on the Ford side, that's when you start getting in and talking about what a real truck is, right? Even some of those are just technology driven and comfort driven now, but I'm talking about the drivetrain and purpose-built vehicles for off-roading or pulling or towing. Let's say you're a rancher or you're someone who's into the equestrian industry and you have to pull out a horse trailer.
Yeah, let's say I'm Kevin Costner and I live on the Yellowstone Ranch in Montana, right? Or I mean, assuming that's a real person. But yeah.
To get an engine, man, that is its purpose is for that, you'd have to get into, say, the Super Duty line on the F Series side, because the standard F-150, the F Series, you're not gonna get that, man.
Yeah, I just wouldn't. And the price on those nowadays is so close. I would rather go with the 3/4 ton because I'm an RV guy and I like towing capability. Now, I'm not going out and looking at the one that's got, the key fob control tailgate, to bring it back to our point of discussion here, or the, crazy amount of infotainment features and capabilities and remote start on a truck and all that. I don't care about all that. I want a truck for a work tool. Some of these tailgates, now I knew about the Ram one. I did not know as much about the General Motors version, so I read into that. I mean, this thing does like 10 different things.
Six or seven, and it has USB ports in it. It's got kicker.
That's
speakers.
insane. Why do we need that? Jake, realistically, why do I need to be able to open a tailgate with my key fob?
You don't. Right. I mean, that's SUV stuff. That's soccer mom.
Yeah, and they're
stuff.
putting
that's hauling the kids
the
around
lift
stuff.
struts
That's
in
getting
them to make them
grocery
go
stuff, man.
open slower and all that. And yeah, I guess that's fine. But come on, man, it's a tailgate.
Right. It's true. And I got into some of the the origin of this thing. Now, let me say this: when I was digging for information about multifunction tailgates, I was surprised, man, how far back some of the patents go. I mean, we're talking late 70s.
I just don't think that they could make it cost competitive, and they went, no, nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to spend the extra cash.
Nobody's interested in that stuff.
We're going to hold off.
Right. So what you had was the development of like the tailgates that had the cutouts so that if you had a fifth wheel, you could have the gate up, protect your stuff on the inside. You could still hook up to your, not harm the fifth, not harm the gate. You have those sorts of things. And then gates that might have gone a whole 180 down, stuff like that. That was simple stuff. But apparently, I guess it was in 2009, one of GM's managers asked Jim Gobart, who was a GM, to fix a certain problem in 2009. Gobart, who was the brainchild of the multi-pro tailgate, was a technician on that year who was tasked to devise ways to improve GM cars and trucks. Here's the problem, according to Gobart. Every time I take a pickup to Home Depot and load it with items, by the time I get home, the stuff has slid forward and I can't reach it. Okay, so have you ever heard of tie downs? Have you ever heard of wedges,
that takes
wedge
too much
blocks?
Work,
there's like these little things, along the bed that we had already, made part of that.
That means then that you got to think about that stuff before
shift.
You get in the truck and drive to Home Depot. Yeah. So.
Right. But anyway, I want to share this with you. I have to share this with you. This is so funny. Gobart came with the ideas and submitted them to his boss, and which propagated well into something that's useful and practical as the multi-pro tailgate system. This is in 2009, so it took 10 years to make it onto a vehicle. He nicknamed it, and this is what really aggravated me, man. How dare you nickname it this? Stairway to Heaven, after the Led Zeppelin song, because I thought I would want it and the customer would certainly want it, said Gobart. Okay, so what about the song Stairway to Heaven makes you want a multi-purpose tailgate?
It makes me wonder, Jay. That's
a good one, man.
So let's talk specific features for just a second here, okay? Here are the things that I know of. Help me fill in the blanks. So you can use, there's a portion that will pop down and let you use it as an extended step. Now, on the Ram side, they open 60-40, so it's not a 50-50 split.
Like a barn door,
and they
like a
swing
barn door
out.
style, yeah.
But on the GM side, it still folds down, but then they have another section that opens a cutout so that you can move closer to the bed. So it sort of lets you reach in further to the contents of the bed.
That's right. Has a flip out and also becomes a step. So when you step up, so it's their whole idea was so that a toddler, but a young kid could step up and get on it. And they have a handle that's under the bed rail that you flip out so you can grab it and get on up in there. So
ease of access.
There is some practicality there, but to get to that point, what they did blows my mind, the amount of technology that had to go into this thing.
One of the next ones that I saw from them, which was they were like, well, look, if I flip it up this way, it'll work like a shelf. Then I have a perfect workspace for my laptop, and I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, I got that in my 99 F-250 too. All I have to do is open the tailgate. What?
Yeah.
Are people actually falling for this?
Right.
But then, you get into the speakers and I mean,
it's nuts, man. It's actually anybody who buys a truck for that feature, whatever, man. You're not buying a truck for its purpose. I'm sorry.
So
that's
what other now there have been some things that are helpful. You know, Dodge doing the gun box thing on the side of the. I know technically that's not a tailgate, but that's
Those
cool.
are
That's a good use of
fantastic, man.
space.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely
adding
it
the
is.
step, I can see that, especially on one of the ones that's off road or a higher lift.
But remember though, GM had the corner steps in their bumper built in.
Yeah, but they
know
made
what I mean?
those bigger because it was. And I had friends with these. You had to then, if the tailgate was open, you had to step over the cable that was holding the tailgate, and people were tripping over them, and your foot got caught in it. Now, I guess where I'm going with this is, you know, is this gonna just do nothing but drive the price up and be blingy, or is it actually helpful?
Absolutely, it will. These types of things would be something that you would find, like, say, on a maybe a Blackwood, like a Lincoln Blackwood,
right.
You know, the high end, your high end luxury stuff. If that's what you want, that's what you get. You know, whatever. But from a practicality standpoint, man, I who wants to spend that extra money for that?
Did you see the thing that Chevy was touting on the Silverado where you could flip open the little top piece and it basically helped prevent that shift that you were talking about, and it like stabilized a couple pieces of lumber? And I'm like, yeah, this use case that you're trying to sell people on, like, how many people go and buy, hey honey, it's my weekly run to Lowe's, I gotta pick up about 7 2x4s, I'll be back, you know?
Right. Well, look at what Nissan did 20 years ago. Maybe not that long ago, but I would say at least 15 years ago, with their the bed rail. Remember that
I had one. It's called a bed extender.
It would pivot. Right. So that's
now
purposeful.
I had it on a short bed. It was a supercharged Frontier pickup, and it was only like a 4.5 foot bed, if I remember correctly. And there were actual times that, you know, I needed to have a bigger, you know, I was hauling stuff in there and it just wouldn't fit in that little 4 foot section. And I would use that. I would flip the bed extender down and yes, that's practical. I have nothing against these guys that are doing it for the sake of practicality, for helping accomplish a work-related task. I just don't see these as work tasks.
Right. I know, man. I know. So here you go. You didn't hear us. We mentioned GM, which they were the first to come out with the multifunction.
Yep. Okay.
We talked about Ram. They've got kind of a multi-purpose. It's not anything like what it's its own deal. To me, when I looked at the Ram side, it seems to be a little bit more practical and mechanical rather than electrical, because the GM version's got motors in it, electronics, and they're putting USB ports in it and sound systems. Man, I mean, it's just that's overkill.
Your $75,000 truck that's going to stop working in 5 to 7 years. You know,
right? In comparison to, and I've said this, my analogy. You know, be careful what you ask for, man. Refrigerators, right? If you have an old refrigerator, man, and you've got a mechanical style ice maker in it, right? It's the only thing that moves in there. It just makes ice, right? Nothing breaks. It's just everything else is the refrigeration side of it. It lives forever. Matter of fact, those things get turned into beer fridges to go put in your garage because the wife wants one with a TV screen on it and that kind of stuff. Those things break because they've got too many gadgets on them. So you're asking for
refrigerator
trouble.
shopping right now. So we have one in the house,
man,
and it's got the, you know, pina colada maker on it and all that nonsense, right? And some of those buttons are getting worn out. And the one in the garage, Jay, it's
it's still working.
It's
like a champ. Full of beer.
I'm gonna go Cold 90s, beer? Made in the 90s. You know, porcelain on steel design. Man. No water dispenser in the door, nothing. It does have an ice maker inside that still works. You know, it's a little flip up the latch thing and all that, and it dumps it in a bucket. Yeah. And the thing just works. It's been working for, 40 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing, man. See, and that's what I'm talking about, because so that's the price you pay for technology. When do you have to really sit down and think about, do I really need a tailgate?
Sometimes you just have to have a pina colada, you know?
Well, this is true.
So, yeah, I agree with you on that. The tailgate on my 99 F-250 still works great, you know? Now,
Speaking of Ford, they're late to the game with this, which is kind of odd. Which I don't know if it's odd or if it's practical thinking. Does Ford sit back going, yeah, let GM do that, let Ram do it? We're not going to follow? Well, guess what, guys? Apparently, 2022, it looks like, according to a report from the website Ford Authority, the Blue Oval is currently hard at work developing a competitor to GM's much-discussed tailgate, even though a past interview suggested Ford wasn't too keen on the idea. The company took a look at both GMC's Multi-Pro and Ram's multifunction tailgates. Of course, the latter offers a 60-40 split, and they do plan to introduce its own version of the F-150 in the near future.
All right, so here's my
There's why
prediction.
your trucks are $70,000.
It's going to have a snow cone maker on it.
I'm listening.
It will. You know it will.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's coming,
it's
dude.
awful.
It's coming.
No, actually, what it's going to have an outlet in it to plug in your Mach-E.
So you can charge them? Yeah, nice.
Yes. Yep. So that'd be the only, just some sort of outlet to plug in that, so your hybrid. So, yeah, don't you find that interesting, though? Why would Ford not, because they're busy over here, working on the Bronco and the Mach-E and, forward thinking a little bit? Yeah. Hey, GM, we got tailgates, but we got no vets.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Which would you rather have, Jay? Snow cones or a Corvette? I mean, come on. Let's be reasonable.
I think I'm going vets, man. I think I'm going vets. You know me. And I want it in that rapid blue. And again, lottery winner from Georgia. Give me a ring. I think I know where it's at.
All right, any closing thoughts before I give us closing thoughts?
Nope.
My balloons made it.
Other than just, we do want, man, I know what I'm doing.
Welcome to the jungle!
I thought, right. Nice, man. Nice. Good job. So again, just everybody, thank you for tuning in.
Somewhere.
If you are listening, if you're listening, thank you for listening to the audio podcast. If you're watching, thank you for being a subscriber on our YouTube channel. For those of you who are not subscribed, please do. You can catch features like this on there. Please give us a thumbs up and ring that bell. Tell a friend. The subscriptions, guys, are free to you, but they're priceless to us. Check us out on all of our social media platforms. Facebook, we're Parts Counter Gurus. Over on Instagram, we are the Parts Counter Gurus. And over on Twitter, we are at The Counter Show, which is what you've listened to today. Go to partscounterguru.com. Ask us a question. Leave us a comment. If you got a specific subject matter you want us to talk about, let us know. If you want to buy some merch and it ain't on the screen when you're going to say, hey man, where's your merch shop? Just poke us a little bit, man. Maybe we'll get on that. So, but outside of that, I just really enjoyed talking to you today, Keith. Pink balloons and all.
Yeah, I think I am going to have to start marketing a side of comfort balloons.
Okay, guy.
All right,
take us
Jay,
out of here, my friend.
In the words of the late Steve Jobs, this is a good one. I summon this one frequently when I feel the need. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life.
Very good.
Thank you so much for watching and listening, everybody. Until next time, that is my partner Jay over there. I'm Keith over here. These are Elgato microphones that we recorded on the podcast right here. We will talk to you soon. Take care. Coming up on today's show. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. Come on up. Let's start that over, all right? All right, just do it.
No.
Come on, man.